Meanwhile, China is also trying to make new friends or perhaps steal some of Russia's. What are we talking about? China is courting 5 Central Asian nations this week. It's holding a summit, the China Central Asia Summit, the first of its kind. The venue is the city of Xi'an in China, one of the most populated cities in Western China, also historically significant. At one point, Xi'an was considered the starting point of the Silk Road, the ancient trade route that connected China to Europe. It went through medieval Central Asia. It enriched everyone along the way. Xi Jinping wants to stress on that ancient connection. He wants Central Asia on board for his new Silk Road. It's called the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative. He also wants to use this opportunity to expand his sphere of influence. You see, these former Soviet republics have historically been dependent on Moscow. But now that Russia is busy in Ukraine, China wants to swoop in. Our next report has more.
There's a historic summit taking place in China, a summit between Xi Jinping and the leaders of 5 Central Asian nations. They're meeting in the western Chinese city of Xi'an. When the Central Asian leaders arrived, they were given a grand welcome. Song and dance and honor guards greeted them as they stepped off their planes. Xi Jinping didn't hold back. But why is China so invested in this summit? Because it sees a golden opportunity, a chance to strengthen partnerships while the rest of the world tries to decouple from China. The 5 nations invited are Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, and Uzbekistan. They all lie between China, Russia, and Iran, at a critical juncture between the West and the East. China has already invested billions in the region as part of its Belt and Road Initiative. That's China's plan to create an overland trade route linking it to Europe. The name and trajectory of the BRI are a nod to the ancient Silk Road. The Silk Road connected China to Europe for thousands of years. It passed through the region where the 5 Central Asian nations now lie. So it's no coincidence that the city of Xi'an was chosen for the summit.
I would like to extend a warm welcome to President Tokayev to attend the summit in Xi'an at my invitation. I'm very happy to play host to Mr. President.
Your Excellency, Mr. President, I am very happy to meet you in the ancient city of Xi'an.
Distinguished Mr. President, I am really glad to meet you in Xi'an, the start point of the ancient Silk Road and the ancient city with historic significance. We are looking forward to the China Central Asia Summit to be held tomorrow.
Xi is meeting the Central Asian leaders individually today. Tomorrow there will be a joint summit. China is expected to pledge higher investment in Central Asia, in the railways and natural gas sectors. There are also talks about reducing trade barriers and pledges of everlasting friendship.
The two sides should vigorously carry forward the traditional friendship, firmly support each other, deepen mutually beneficial cooperation, jointly pursue development and rejuvenation, and build a China-Kazakhstan community with a shared future featuring everlasting friendship, strong mutual trust, and solidarity.
This may not go down well with Russia. You see, all 5 nations that China has invited are former Soviet states. They became independent after the fall of the USSR, and they've remained in Russia's sphere of influence. Now that may be changing. Russia is busy with the war in Ukraine, and these countries are stepping out of its shadow. Kazakhstan has refused to recognize Russia's annexation of Ukrainian regions. Tajikistan has demanded more respect from Russia. Their unease over the war makes sense. Ukraine is a former Soviet state, just like them. So courting China makes sense, at least for now. It's not clear how Moscow will deal with this. Guess the response will have to wait until after the war.